What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is a much requested video, so I'm going to finally explain how I mounted and set up a light bar on a dirt bike that wouldn't normally come with lights. So it's actually pretty simple. Conveniently, the light bar that I put on just so happened to line up with the crossbar mount for my handlebars. But if it didn't do that, there is plenty of ways to do it. I mean, you could do it like the second one that I have. I zip tied it to that one. I was in a pinch. A bunch of friends were going out riding, so. But anyway, yeah, there's multiple different ways you could mount this, but that's the way I did it, and it worked out pretty good. Now for the wiring part of this, because we don't just have a battery we can wire to, unfortunately. So what I do is, you can see my inline fuse and everything right there. I wire this to an RC battery, and believe it or not, it powers it for a few days even if I wanted it to. It works out really good. And they're small and compact. I'll probably put a picture on the screen right now of the one I run. But yeah, I just wired a inline fuse on the light bars, because I wired the two light bars together. Then I wired an inline fuse and then down to the plug, which the plug actually ripped off. I fell, you know, happens. I gotta fix that. But yeah, and then I Velcro strapped the battery to my crossbars there. Not the best way to do it. My buddy actually, when I get back to the garage, maybe I'll show how his works, but he uses an RC car battery tray, and it works out really well, and he just zip tied it to his fork. And yeah, so that's really all we do, is we just RC car battery, 3S preferably, because I think it's 11.6 volt, so it's nice and bright still. And yeah, they last really long. And to get a cheap, I think the battery is like $20 something, and then the charger is same thing. It's only 20-30 bucks for the cheap one. And then these light bars are only like 10 bucks a piece. So to have a light set up for sub $100 on a dirt bike that wouldn't normally have lights, I think is pretty awesome. So yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm always down to help out. So yes, he got pretty fancy with this one. This is a what is this battery tray from?
This is from an Element RC.
Yeah, so it's just from an RC car. This is what you would mount it in the chassis with. But yeah, so all he did was zip tie it. He drilled some holes and zip tied it to the fork tube, and that's where he's able to store his battery, and then you just plug it in.
And then I have the Velcro straps.
Yeah, it just Velcros around the battery and it plugs in. And this way it's like a foot of wiring. It's the easiest. You don't have to touch anything with the bike. No changing the stator, nothing like that. It's just plug and play, as long as you find a way to mount it to your bike, and that's easy too. Yep, so as long as you can find a place to mount it, which I've never had an issue with mounting anything on something. You just got to get creative in some instances. And then this is what I would do. If you can get some sort of battery tray to hold your battery, and this one's, like he said, is from Element RC, and it holds the 3S LiPo battery we use, no problem. And then just get an inline fuse, so that way there's a fusible link, so you're not burning anything down if something happens, because that will and can happen.
This is in here, I just have it wrapped.
Yeah, it's wrapped in electrical tape and heat shrink,
just to make sure that it's weatherproof.
But yeah, then you just get whatever RC battery you get, because there's a bunch of different connectors you can get. Pretty much it's user dependent, like whatever you want to use.
Yeah,
but yeah,
this is just the one that I use for all of my cars. This is an XT60, so.
Yeah, and I'll put screenshots up of everything too, of like what you could buy to do this. But yeah, this has been asked a whole bunch of times, but it's super simple. But yeah, boys, that's how you do it.
Yeehaw.
Pause for a second, take the mic and I rip it. Flow is always explicit, it doesn't matter who's listening, it doesn't matter who's dissing, cause at the end of the day, my state of mind is always sunny like in WA. Oh, by the way, aren't you the guy with the Burger King rap? Yeah, that's me, 4.5 million. Just try and hate on that, you can't, cause you can't rap like that, you can't, cause